cases, tumbling. I think some of you have heard what George Charamba has said before about these cases, saying that they're all going to be bundled into sections, and then the judges, the constitutional judges, will just make a ruling after. So, guys, let's move away from the toxic topics. Let's talk about our country. So, who I can't see any hands here. Who would like to go first? I see some requests here, but I can see Ongab requesting, but I can't bring him up. Dobbs, did you want to say something? And then I'll drop someone there. And then we get Ongab. I'll put you up there. Go on, Dobbs.
Kana pasina space ndogona kudropa uye onigap.
Okay. All right. Ongab, pick up the mic.
Judges are now going to be afraid after
No,
the
no, no,
Attorney
no, no,
General
no,
said
no,
what
no,
he
no.
said.
They are just discussions around. These are just discussions among the legal corridors. People are saying that
Where?
once the no, no, no. Their discussions, the lawyers and all that are just having talks around that. That in Zimbabwe generally, when the attorney general has said something, that strikes a bit of fear among the judges. You know how it has been in Zimbabwe. That some judges have been arrested. There's actually a case of one judge that just got killed a few days ago. Must be about a week now, after she sent someone who had been arrested on bail. And some people are raising suspicion that this might have been an issue of the usual, that if you give a judgment or you give someone bail who is supposed to be a suspect, someone of interest to the state, therefore the end game is you either become targeted.
So,
um,
is that actually a genuine thing that we are saying, that our judges in Zimbabwe are afraid of the office of the Attorney General?
Not only the office of the attorney general, but they are afraid of the system itself. They are afraid of a lot of the intimidation. They are afraid of a lot of things that tend to happen within the legal circles, especially when you are challenging, the powers that be. It brings a lot of bad taste to the powers that be, such that you either become targeted, or we know about these things on Gab. I think I can cite quite a few examples.
No, I'm actually surprised because it's my first time hearing something like that. I understand the element of state capture, but for judges at different benches of the judiciary system to be said to be afraid of an attorney general, eh,
did you know that?
it could
Did
be
you know
possible,
that?
but it's kind of shocking.
Yeah, yeah, no. But did you know that before this Cap 3, before there were some cases that were presented to the Constitutional Court before, and they said it's preliminary. You are bringing these cases before this Cap 3 is now, this before the Cap 3 is law. It hasn't been signed. You are just, so they say you're putting in like a preempting things. Therefore, then the cases were thrown out. And they say that the cases can only be heard after the Cape 3 is become law, and then our Cape 3 is becoming law, and then the Attorney General itself says that, and it's publicized in the national newspapers, that this is what
Yeah,
the
when you are directing that one, you direct the separation of powers between the attorney general and the judges. There's that separation of power before, because they represent different things.
That's very true.
Mm.
Very, very true what you're saying, Dobbs. Very true what you're saying.
Attorney
That
general could not is not supposed to tell the judges how to proceed, even on the procedure. They get their guidance somewhere else through
So Dobbs,
yeah.
where I have questions is to say, when the executive is influencing the judiciary, are they using the attorney general as the means to enforce whatever they want, or they are captured because they have common understanding of the things that they want. So when the judges make those decisions, they know what they are defending because they are part of the system. That's also capture. Or are we saying they are under duress and the Attorney General is the one who's enforcing that on behalf of the executive? So I'm not sure if it's just speculations that people have and where it's coming from, or it's actually factual to say this is how how the office of the Attorney General relates with the judiciary. It's if it's not substantiated, what? My English just left. That one,
I
it
have
might be
heard you.
dangerous because it could be
Yeah,
not true.
I have heard you on on Gab, but what you must understand in this occasion is that even the Attorney General is a respondent as well in some of the cases. Now the respondent is telling the one who must be judged on the way, how are you going to proceed? That is where those questions should go, because the Attorney General is mentioned as a respondent. We have to submit to say, here is my evidence. Everything is like ABCD. Give a statement and get judged by the same judges. But that respondent is giving that judge to say you are going to proceed this way. And we mustn't debate around it, but take action around it.
Yeah, we can have Mercy and Child of Zimbabwe. I see your hands up, guys. I think we need another co-host, but go on, Mercy. It's open.
I don't think you are wrong to say that a fear or a collusion or a coercion has happened. Reference is or his book. I keep quoting that book, but Zimbabweans don't go to it. He did a book called "The Constitution of Zimbabwe." I'll look for the title. It's actually a free download. You can download it, and he actually did a look at the judiciary. I think it's the judiciary and the Constitution of Zimbabwe. But I'll post it in the comment section. If you put the title, you can download the book. And he speaks to this issue that you're talking about. In one of the evaluations, he says 9 justices of Zimbabwe, the 9 justices, they do something which is peculiar in the justice system of the world entire, where it is common for justices to agree. Let's take agreeing that they can be unanimous in agreeing on a matter, because legal issues are an issue of evidence, precedence, and or jurisprudence, and all of that. It is common for justices to agree on a matter. But what is peculiar in Zimbabwe is the justification they use when they are in cahoots, which is peculiar. He says, I can agree with you, John Papish, and say, oh, yes, it is wrong for this or it is right for that. But my justifications, edu, papa ne pano siana a bit. Even in the write up of it, I cannot write like you. Does it make sense? Ndiri munhu individual. Ndine manyorero angu ndinoshandisa chichi. Majustices ekuZimbabwe, they look like they use a template where it is copy and paste on an issue that is showing collusion, that is also showing some executive control. Because when they do that, it is normally issues that emanate from the executive where they are exactly the same. So to me, it's not shocking what Virginia Mabiza has said or commented on what should happen to the pending challenges, because ari kuona kuti zvinodiwa ne-executive chi. So they cannot have imwe case inopasa, imwe inofoira, because realistically, all those cases are tackling the one thing which could create a domino effect. So SM must be captured. All those cases must have the same judgment, even if their prayers for specific things are different. Even now, they are chasing the ultimate result that must come out. So I may not be explaining how Tabora explains this bizarreness. And it then goes into depth now to show what happens to mamwe my justices ekuZimbabwe who have tried to be different. Even Pavano agree if they quote something differently to others, a persecution of them starts. Justice Kubey, Justice Garwe, Justice, it goes through them. And eventually they become dismissed or criminalized. My cases are because they are human beings. Ivo vane zvavo zvavanoita side to my side deal. So he starts to state all the other justices that we have lost and how it started. It started with going against what the executive had decided. If you are lucky, I'll maybe clip the chapter where he talks about that inside. So you are correct to say varikuchka kune ka systemic kuchka that gets inserted in the judiciary patinoti it has been captured. That's what you watch out for. Justices that start to collude and comment even on cases that have not yet been adjudicated or heard. She's commenting on cases prior to them even having an airing. Does it make sense?
It makes sense, yes, 100%. Agree with that, Massive. Well said. Olga, did you want to say something? I think it's directly in response to some of the questions you had before. We want some more co-host. Host, can we have some more mics, please? So many requests here at the moment. Scotty, can we have some more mics, please? Go on, Ungab. Are we there? Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Dobbs?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
All right, go on.
So I think it's a good or whatever. The history have told us how we have get rid of our judges who have given judgment against what the state wants. And it is a warning. And the issue of judge being captured, that is CAB 3. Think what would happen in CAB 3. The Judicial Service Commission is no longer going to do anything with the appointment of those ones in high office. Think about it, the Attorney General herself or himself. The future ones are not going to be appointed with the recommendation of Judicial Service Commission if we go according to CAB 3. And we have another issue again, which is confusing. We now have Judge President of what of which court of is it Constitutional Court and a Supreme Court judge and the Chief Justice. Those positions are now confusing us to say who is more powerful and who have the final say and what is the role of the other. Those positions which have been created by the CAB 3. But all in all, if we have to analyze the issue of CAB 3, was taking power from the people and give it to the president. I would be going out of topic, but I'm just giving it as an example to the fact that he's going to appoint 10 more senators. It means he have become all powerful without any changes. And the fact that he's going to appoint the judges without the recommendation of Judicial Service Commission, it means that he is now all powerful to appoint whom he need or to dismiss any person whom he doesn't want. So we must be careful with the CAB 3. That is why I'm telling everybody to say, no, CAB 3 must go. We mustn't sing to their tune to say it's a done deal. Let's do more to make it go. And we can do it. It doesn't matter whether it will take us 2 years or 3 years or 10 years or 20 years. But what we must then focus on Cape 3, because we must understand it to say what is it doing is destroying that justice system, that idea of separation of power. So let me end up here.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sorry,
Doctor.
sorry, John. I was far from my phone. So
Okay, go
what
on.
what I was raising is to say. So are we saying the Attorney General is the one who is in charge of the capture, or we are talking about the whole executive? Because when you speak about the whole executive, it then includes the president, it includes the Minister of Justice, and what they collude together to say the judiciary must act in our favor. But are we narrowing it down to just the Attorney General's office to say that is the one that the judiciary is afraid of, or it's about the whole executive? That's where my question was.
To me, it's the
And
executive. The
Yeah,
judiciary
because that
is,
becomes too narrow.
pardon?
I was saying to say it's the Attorney General becomes too narrow because the executive is broad.
Yes, it's the executive's
We are not
influence.
saying we are not saying it's the Attorney
Yes.
General who have captured, but it's the mouthpiece of them in this
Yeah.
occasion.
So it's the whole system itself is now one, instead of what the constitution says. There's a separation of power. So what we are witnessing is that separation not being there. It's ambiguous. It's not there anymore. We cannot have our judiciary, which is now symbiotic. There must be a relationship, obviously, because they adjudicate on issues that emanate from the other arms of government. But in this case, we see that they are now complicit to the wills and wishes of the executive. The executive is now controlling the judiciary. It's controlling the legislature. There's no separation.
And you also must remember that the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice, they worked together to actually to put the Cape 3. They were actually working in collusion to try and make sure that Cape 3 goes through, although they had difficulties in trying to frame it and structure it and put the wording, made some mistakes. Simsterek, did you want to say something in Child of Zimbabwe? I see your hands have been up. Do you want to say something, please? I'm just going with the order here. With the ones that have got the mics, and then we'll go to disaster after, and then in Child of Zimbabwe, a disaster. Just those with the mics, please. Let's go in that order.
Oh, I'll go last because I joined last. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's like before I start my conversation, I was in Zimbabwe for the part of last week, and yesterday I was coming. I was in South Africa airport when I was talking, and I saw a lot of things in Zimbabwe. There is, in fact, disaster there, and what I saw is unbelievable. So that is why I'm now called disaster. I'm no longer called rescue. But let's come to the topic.
Kana asina kuuya nematowe mutsikise.
Let's come to the topic. Now I'm at home, just arrived, and Marcy was correct that it is something strange that Mabiza today is now saying no one is challenging CAPS 3 in courts because it's a punishment. They want someone to challenge so that they can continue legalizing it through their own institutions. And it is true when she said that the parliament had been captured and they know that the judiciary is also captured. But now you are going to discover that they are going to bring their own people to submit some papers, then they will reject them. So that the issue that they will say next is that, this CAPS 3 was legal. So let's try to go back to history. We started at parliamentary level. Some of the very few people had already seen that ZANU-PF wanted to legalize itself through the parliament. So they lied that let's come and we are going to allow people to, talk when they visit places, but it never happened. And Today, the language of those people in the Warakashi, vanataura kuti ingoni makaenda mukanobvumirwa kuti muvhote mutaure zvamuri kuda pakabuda kuti mimi makafoira, ndo language yacho. Saka izvozvo vada kuti vachienda kune the other arm so that they can arm twist us by saying that even the judiciary, that is the same situation. So for me, my advice to the people who are genuine, don't go and challenge this CAPS 3. It is just an issue of trying to, authenticate the illegality of our president. So as we are speaking right now, in Zimbabwe, I was there. Just for the whole week, I was there. I saw quite a lot of, things that were shocking to me. That is why yesterday I was a little bit angry. I was in the airport waiting to come to London, and I was a bit drunk though. But the reality is that there is a disaster, and our disaster is Idi Mnangagwa is an illegal president. So everyone should brand to make sure that we rebrand that the first way we are going is that we don't have a president, but instead we have got a president who is illegal. And that discussion of AG, who is the AG of the country? The one who is today on the side of ZANU-PF and the one who is today on the side of the executive. It's better to be on the executive, but this particular issue is driven from the party levels. So in history of Zimbabwe, we have seen an AG who is, partial, an AG who has destroyed our country through this CAPS 3, but we won't forget here. Still in the history, we were taking notes, but this is where we are, guys. We have got an illegal president. Thank you very much, Mr. Post.
Thank you, rescue. I'd say today disaster. Yes, that was good. You must share Mato Makoya na Okupa Iko Koko. Anyway, thank you very much. But look, I would sort of say I would disagree on one point where you said we shouldn't challenge the CAP 3 because we know that it's going to be a lost cause. Because I think if we don't test our law, then we're going to have a country without any law at all. I think I would agree with Maduku on this one, that given whatever circumstance, we need to keep pushing so that we put our law to test, so that whatever they try and say and do is what we use, no matter we lose. But the fact that we want our law to be, to be in alignment with other countries, and also for our law systems, justice system to work. So if we give up and don't challenge them, then they'll keep using the law to subjugate us into, like, we become an anarchy. Anarchists, they don't care. They will keep putting us in a very difficult situation where we won't have any law at all. Because for them, nothing to lose. Child of Zimbabwe, I see your hand up.
Maybe I wanted to respond to that question. That is a brilliant question. Do you know one thing, Mr. Co-host? We went to the parliament through Maduku and other guys, and when they discovered that what was happening to the parliament was wrong, they came up and made a statement that, please, we were cheated and nothing is happening, so we don't trust the parliament. And we have been to the courts with this particular issue on several grounds, and it's not our first time to go to the courts. So Maduku may continue going back, and the mistake which he did when he went to allowed us to go to the parliament is the same thing which ZANU-PF is taking advantage of, that we have got records that the parliament said no, and it is final. That is what they also want. The courts, they want to say no, and it's final, so that they can get message when they are writing their papers in international journals or to the international committee. So that's why we are telling Maduku that he should study carefully what happened to the parliament. And the court, that he went with the particular people, the same people, and what they said to him before he consider again to go again. So that's why we are saying sometimes it is very bad to be led by law people. They want to trust even the law that is illegal, that has been butchered. So that is the challenge of Maduk. But we believe is coming out of the box, which we call law, so that he can move forward. So don't legalize ZANU-PF. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Child of Zimbabwe and then Zimsterik.
Hello, how are you? Thank you, co-host Nekuti Pamkana Taura. I've got first. I think let's address Kuti. Is it within her responsibilities or the mandate that we gave as Zimbabweans for her to give such statements to the people of Zimbabwe? Is she justifiable for her to say such things? Kana takutsvaga kuti munhu watakapa basa rekuti aita kana akudzoka akutiudza kuti musataure zvinhu zviri kukurwadzai. Does she have the authority to tell Zimbabweans that? This is probably the first place I would love us to see, because sometimes we might try to engage with somebody who doesn't have even the authority to give us instructions as Zimbabweans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a good thoughts. Very good thoughts. Zimsterik. Zimsterek, your hand was up. Can you hear me? All right, we
Yes,
go on.
thank you, John. Thank you, co-host, and thank you everybody for listening. So I'm probably going to get in trouble here because I see things from a different point of view. I've been in Canada a long time, and I really miss Zimbabweans because when I come into these live spaces, I really miss actually talking to people who are intelligent and even keeled like you guys. So my question is, the way I would look at it is, what does ZANU-PF strive or stand to gain by legitimizing or legalizing their position, their authoritarian regime? The way I see it, they've always been authoritarian or kind of like a dictatorship. So why legalize it and make it very, very kind of like open? Why do they stand to what is the point of that? And another thing is, Zimbabwe is, the way I look at ZANU-PF or Mugabe, for example, it's the only country where the land is owned by Zimbabweans. He took it back. So, 22 years of sanctions, but it doesn't matter to me if one veteran owns all the land. At least it is not an Englishman. That's the way I see it. So, and also, the thing with the elections is, who is challenging ZANU? If ZANU has always been like, let's say, fixing the vote, what do they stand to gain by legitimizing this? So for me, I just see it as a way to prevent an external force from coming in and interfering. Mm, where's the gain for ZANU and for ED to do this when they could have done it when they were already doing it in the minds of the people who see it this way? That's just what I want to say. Thank you, John. Thank you, Scotty, for hosting this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jim Zimsterek. That's a very good thoughts. Okay, we're just going with the order. I don't know whether between Dobbs and Massey, Massey there, and then Dobbs here. I would like to respond, and then Dobbs after. Go on, Massey.
No, I'm glad that he feels that way. It is an oppressor's way of making you visualize your reality. It's a tried and tested method. Yokuti, we have an external threat. Therefore, if one of us is the one who holds everything for us, zvirinani than the bully to have it. So we must externalize NAMO, poverty, repression, suppression, domination, because Tirukuchka, the big wolf that will get us. So let's sacrifice ourselves. Kutitibate, Cecil John Rhodes did the exact same thing. Coerced white people that it is okay for them also to have him, the company, its investors, because there was a bigger threat, and it was the Portuguese. They also fell into that. And then They transmitted that even now when they had formed the government, they became the custodians because varikuchka, we were now the big wolves. These incompetent people, these people who lack foresight, these people who are, they had to classify us as the monster, the undeveloped people. Ours wasn't kutitinova rova, it was inferiority. The oppressor always creates a big wolf that you must fear, whilst they appropriate everything to themselves. Then your reality is always ndirinani, protector. There is nothing that says if you distribute it to other black people. I'm wanting to show you that they are continuing the racism